It was just like I'm watching a bad dream.
Copy, the precinct is on fire.
Get a citywide tone right now in our loss of the 3rd precinct.
Airing information citywide. The 3rd precinct has been compromised.
Cops do not run away. You run too.
This has never happened in our country's history. Have you lost a police station or police precinct to a riot? Furthermore, forfeiting it. It was unbelievable then, and it still is now, that they chose to surrender that precinct.
I wanted to start with that clip because a story out of the Hill today, and is obviously making news everywhere else, is that the president, through executive order, has ordered the states to stand up a force in the National Guard to quell civilian unrest. We'll go to the Hill. Pentagon orders quick reaction force of 500 troops per state, report says. And these are to be taken from the National Guard of each state. As National Guard spokesman told Task and Purpose, the Bureau is coordinating with the Pentagon and the states and territories to form this unit. The troops are to be trained in how to form squad-size riot control formation, how to employ riot baton as member of a riot control formation, how to supervise a riot crowd control operation, as well as de-escalation of force techniques, according to the memo. The reason I brought up that clip is because that very thing could have saved the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis. Mayor Fry had asked Governor Walz 27 hours before the abandonment of the 3rd precinct to activate the National Guard. I did a video on this previously. I'm going to make sure to link it at the end of this video so you guys can check that out. I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Tim Walz is responsible for the entire Summer of Love, nationwide, we'll say globally. He's also responsible for the 3rd precinct. This is the 3rd precinct today. This was just a couple weeks ago on one of my work trips into Minneapolis. Still burnt out. Still a shell. What does it say? Cleanup efforts are underway. That's 5 years later, my friends. 5 years later, nothing has happened. The city of Minneapolis cannot decide what to do with the 3rd precinct, the building itself, or the officers. They continue to try to find locations to rebuild the 3rd precinct, including outside of the area of the precinct. It's just unreal. So this article, as far as I'm concerned, had this force existed during that time, during 2020, the 3rd precinct would still be there. This article just goes to show that the means were available. Governor Walz had the means. At the time, he delayed 27 hours before he activated them. I believe it was 3 hours approximately before the abandonment of the 3rd precinct. It's incredible. So the president is doing his best to try to prevent this from happening again in the future with this force. And there's something else that needs to be stated. That besides this training being intended for, as it says in the article, in Task and Purpose, that it's intended for domestic use. This is also something that can be used as National Guard is deployed overseas. The Red Bull 34th Infantry Division was deployed to Kosovo late 90s, early 2000s. And at that time, they encountered riots, civilian strife, things like that. And this is going to be eminently usable over there too. So in my opinion, this is something that is it's a good executive order. It'll ensure the ability of states to have a rapid reaction force to move in quickly. Even in blue states, the president can activate them and send them right in. That's not said in the article, but it is definitely part of it. But this is a pretty good article. Obviously, their point of view is from the left, but they do take quite a few quotes that are worth looking into. And if you've never seen The Fall of Minneapolis, I couldn't recommend this documentary enough. It is absolutely the pinnacle of reporting on that situation. What happened with the city, why it happened, and the evolution of the city of Minneapolis into the hellscape that it is turning into, and is going to turn into, especially in a few days, when Omar Fateh is very likely elected mayor of Minneapolis. So, I wanted to bring this article to your attention. 500 National Guard troops to be trained in civilian riot control. Out of the Hill. You can go to Task and Purpose and get this as well. I also recommend checking out The Fall of Minneapolis. That's available on Alpha News on YouTube. Just type in The Fall of Minneapolis. And I am going to make sure to link at the end of this video the video I did where I go city by city, date by date, and explain that the Summer of Love was all a direct reaction to the fall of the 3rd Precinct. When the police of a major American city were seen to run from the rioters, it empowered all these people nationwide and globally to act the way they did. And then we suffered for 4 years with this. This building still stands burnt out to this day. To this day, it's a shell. To this day, the 3rd Precinct has no permanent home. And to this day, we still feel the repercussions of the Summer of Love. All of that started here in Minnesota. All of that could have been prevented simply by having a rapid reaction force that could have been empowered to move quickly. As soon as Mayor Fry asked, 27 hours prior to the abandonment of the 3rd Precinct, those forces could have been in place. And the 3rd Precinct could have been saved. Who knows what could have been saved? Multiple lives for sure. I just wanted to bring this point of view. It's a little bit different when you hear the 500 in the news, how they're talking about it. Of course, they're putting a slant on it. I'm putting my slant on it too, but mine is positive. Because I can see what can be prevented with this. What could have been prevented. Thanks.